Howdy everyone, in this video we're going to be using Photo Studio X to do magic tricks. Howdy everyone, in this video it's going to be all about Halloween, so it's going to be a Halloween themed video, and we're going to be using Photo Studio X to do a sort of Halloween pet themed video, and we're going to edit that today, so let's go have a look. Okay, so our final photo is going to be of this little dog doing magic tricks with a pumpkin. And in the video's description, you can find a link to the article on the exact same topic. All right, so we got a photo here of a dog reaching up for a pumpkin and a doggy treat. And what we're going to be doing is editing this to make it look just a bit more special. So we're going to start editing in the develop module. And the first thing we have to do is edit out the hands, of course, which are holding the pumpkin and the dog treat. So we're going to use the clone stamp because we want to clone or copy and both the color and the texture. Let's uncheck the option to seek source region automatically because we want to select the source region ourselves. Okay, so let's slightly increase the density as well as blur for the transition just so that everything is as smooth as possible. All right, press the control key to click and select the source region, the leaves that we're going to clone and then gradually cover over our arms with. Okay, so once we edit out the arms, we're gonna want to create a smooth transition on the pumpkin. So we're gonna clone the edges of the pumpkin stem, and that's just to complete the end of it, to make it look more natural where the fingers used to be. All right, now it's time for some retouching. Let's remove the leash and the leaves and the clip on the dog collar. Make sure that your retouching is not overly obvious and that it looks natural. Now, after zooming out, the dog collar doesn't look doesn't look natural. So let's edit that out too. Now, once we're done retouching, let's color correct this photo. For this type of photo, we recommend sticking to warm fall colors. So here, I think it'd be a good idea to mute out the greens. Greens in general is gonna give off a much more spring or summer vibe. And in this scenario, it just doesn't make much sense. So let's stick to more fall colors. Now, we're gonna also move the white balance slightly towards yellow. And let's use color shift to slightly adjust hue for orange and yellow, just to be a little bit further away from green. Now, lower the hue for green completely to yellow, and increase the saturation slightly for red, orange, as well as yellow. Then let's decrease saturation for green as well as turquoise. Next, for split toning, let's move the master colors more towards orange. And we're gonna do the exact same thing for the shadows. All right, now that our photo's been retouched and color corrected, let's move into the editor module where we can add just a bit more sort of alterations and a little bit of that magic we talked about. All right. So some of that magic is going to include glitter. So let's add some glitter onto the pumpkin. Let's use selection tools to select the pumpkin, add it to a new layer, and we're gonna select the pumpkin using the magnetic lasso. And use Control-C and Control-V to copy and paste it to a brand new layer. All right, so our pumpkin moved to the middle of the photo. And so let's move it to where it needs to be or where we kind of want it to be. Next, click Add Layer to add an empty layer underneath the already copied pumpkin layer. And then let's move that. Okay, I go to Drawing Tools and select Paintbrush, or use Control-B to add orange and yellow glitter of various sizes. Let's set the blur to 50%, and then leave opacity and density exactly as they are. Now you can adjust these to suit your needs, of course, because you're always supposed to do it according to, how you're feeling that the picture should be or look like. And next, let's add a layer of glow outside the glitter. Now let's choose a shade somewhere here between orange and yellow. And then let's slightly decrease the opacity. Let's increase the size and spread to make it look like the glitter is actually glowing. And then lastly, what I think would be a nice touch is adding some lens flare to the exact same layer, the one that's under the pumpkin. This makes it look like the pumpkin is actually radiating glitter. Okay, finally, we can add some glitter to the actual pumpkin, which we already copied. And that's it. Boom, boom. We have a Halloween pet photo set with our magical dog. All right, so that's it for our Halloween themed video. You can find a lot more Halloween themed things in our article that we're gonna include as a link in the description below. So be sure to check that out. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, let us know what you think and any other topics that you'd like to cover. And until then, we'll see you next time. Have a good one.